Hello, welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad that you're here. Today we are talking about Sister Wives Season 17, Episode 14. And before I go any further with this, I just want to let you guys know that it would have been impossible for me to say everything I wanted to say and show all of the clips that I wanted to show. I definitely would have not been allowed to keep that video up if I had. This episode was just too good. I felt like this whole thing was jam-packed full of stuff we could have talked about. So what I have done, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to recap this episode and just sort of highlight some things that happened and sort of talk about the flow of the show and how it all went. But I'm definitely not going to get it all in here, and I know that. So if you guys are like thinking, oh, she missed it, or why didn't she mention this? It is actually just a time issue, but feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about in the comments. My plan is to actually make a few smaller episodes where we really talk about specific scenes later on this week. And one more thing, I have a special video scheduled for Wednesday that I had a lot of fun making, so I hope you guys will come back to watch that. But that is all I'm going to say. Sorry I can't get it all in here, guys, but it was just such a good episode. Let's go ahead and get started. The show starts out with the three wives and Kody getting together at Meri's house. And they're getting together to talk about what Janelle wants to do out at the Coyote Pass property. There's not anything particularly interesting about them getting together. It sort of feels like the same thing they normally do. But what is interesting, at least to me, is that Meri points out that they have not gotten together since Christine has left. And Christine left several months ago. So they haven't seen each other since they said goodbye to her. Can you imagine that? This was a huge change for them. And Kody, he always talks about wanting to be a leader. He couldn't figure out that the family needed to all come together and sort of work through what happened. This was a time where they should have gotten together and talked about what changes they wanted to make in the family. They should have talked about maybe getting together for therapy, for counseling. I know they've tried it in the past and it wasn't successful, but you know what? This was a time to try again. They could have even done something simple like made plans to get together once a month or once a week. I think Meri would have loved to have hosted a family dinner weekly. I think Meri would have loved that. They could have done something like that just so they're still connecting and bonding. But the reality is, I don't think this family likes each other, so I think there's no interest in getting together. And I think Janelle's interest is just there to talk about the property. I don't think Janelle is super interested in pursuing any relationships with Meri and Robin. But I just think this is bizarre. Kody talks about wanting to be a leader. This was a time he could have been a leader. This was a time he could have tried to make his family reconnect, but he didn't do it. So they've went several months without seeing each other. So the goal is to talk about the property, at least for Janelle. But during a confessional, she says that whenever she brings up paying off the property to Kody, he gets really mad and tells her not to bring it up anymore. But she's not going to stop because this is her estate. And here's the thing. Let's get real. Rumor has it that Janelle has already left, right? But during the filming of this, she hasn't, but you know it's probably on her mind. She's a smart woman. So a lot of you have already agreed in the comments after watching previous episodes. It looks like Janelle is trying to prepare for leaving Kody and just also prepare for her future. So I think that's what we're seeing here. She's like, I'm not backing down. I want my property. I want my house. So Kody, though, he's not happy. It sounds like he's telling her to stop bringing it up. But from that confessional, we go back to Meri's house, and Robin and Meri point out that it's really weird that they haven't all gotten together to talk about Christine leaving, and here they are talking about the property. Like, it's sort of like they just skipped the fact that one person divorced the family and left. I shouldn't say divorced the family. I shouldn't have said that. She divorced Kody. But still, that's huge for all of them, and they haven't even talked about it. So Robin brings it up, but it really doesn't seem to go anywhere. I don't know if anyone noticed that besides me. Like, it doesn't go anywhere. The only person who said a lot was Robin, and Robin sort of says she wants the future for the family to be different. She wants to work on relationships. She wants to work on communication. She wants the future to be different. And I don't know. Janelle basically says that she doesn't know if she wants to put in the work. And then it's interesting because Meri says that she wants to put in the work, but Kody doesn't seem to want her to. Actually, it's not even that he doesn't seem to. He says that he's really not interested in Meri wanting to work on a relationship. So, that is how they are all standing at this point with what the future of their family looks like. Janelle is not sure she wants to do it. Meri wants to do it, but Kody doesn't want her to. And then Robin wants everyone to work on their relationships. I'm going to go ahead and put in a clip here of Kody talking about Meri's support and how he feels about it.
Ironically, Meri's trying to support me, and I don't want to be in a relationship with her anymore.
So there's two opinions I have about this. One is Kody knows that Meri doesn't watch this show, so he just says whatever he wants. Or he knows that Meri does watch it, and he's like, Meri, watch the show and listen to me and leave me. I feel like it's got to be one or the other. Like, he's either super comfortable just talking crap about their relationship, or he's hoping that she's going to see it and leave. So what do you guys think? I'm just always floored by the situation with Meri. It is so weird. Also, did any of you guys catch the moment where he sort of singled Meri out when they were talking about how they hadn't talked about Christine leaving? He was like, Meri, you're acting kind of weird. Do you have something to say? I was like, why is he singling her out? She didn't even do anything to warrant being singled out like that. It was the same thing that he did when Christine said she was leaving. Do you remember? He sort of singled her out over at Christine's house. Like, Meri, do you have anything to say? Like, what is the deal with that? In this episode, she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything in that episode either. What is he doing, guys? He is up to something. Do you think he's just trying to get her to say something to support him, or get her to say something bad about Christine? What do you think he's doing? Or do you guys think maybe it's possible, even though he's saying he doesn't want to work on a relationship with Meri, that he sort of is? Because if you remember several episodes ago, he said now that things were bad with Christine, it sort of felt like it was better with Meri. See, I'm so confused. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I cannot figure it out at all. So they sit out there and they continue to talk about how they need to communicate more and how they need to discuss what happened with Christine. But Janelle has a confessional where she says that she doesn't need any time to process this divorce, and she doesn't want to be a part of a Christine bashing session. I just think Janelle is in a really weird spot, because there's this loyalty to Christine. She has this friendship with her, but there's also, I think, this friendship, some of it really got stronger because of how Kody treated them. They weren't treated fairly. He wasn't spending time with them, and they still had minor children in their home that they were raising, and he just sort of checked out of the marriages with them. So I think they actually have a stronger connection because of that. So the issue is, she has this loyalty to Christine, and some of it is because of how they were treated by Kody. So to sit there and discuss the divorce, that's really awkward, because there's going to be times where she sides with Christine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say she's going to side with Christine more than Kody. So how does Janelle even engage in a conversation about it? It's like she can't. But on the other side of this, don't you guys think a family should talk about this stuff, because it's huge? Like, having one member of your family suddenly gone, that's something you should discuss. But it's like Janelle is not going to be able to, because she's either going to have to lie and just nod her head and go along with things, or she's going to tell the truth, and then that's going to be chaos for her. And I do think Janelle right now is working on, I think she was working to get her own life together so that if she decides to leave, she has everything she needs. So she's in that spot where she needs to just lay low and get through whatever they're going through to get to the other side. But yeah, they're out there discussing those issues about needing to communicate more. And the one house issue is brought up again. If you guys remember correctly, Christine did not want to live in one house, but Janelle actually did. So it's brought up that Christine is gone now. How does everyone feel about one house? And it's interesting, because a part of me thought Janelle would be like, no, it's not a good idea now. But she seems to sort of think about it, which I don't know. Maybe I read that wrong. Let me know what you guys think. But Robin is like, no way. There's no way I'm living with everyone after what I saw when COVID went down. So Robin doesn't think they treated each other well, and she does not want to live in one household. There was a part of this where I felt like Robin made a jab at Janelle. She asked about the family in Flagstaff. I'm going to put in a clip of what she said here, and then I'm going to tell you what I think she was talking about.
Are we going to be a pod here? The home base, the nucleus, whatever it is here in Flagstaff, or where the kids come home like we talked about? Or are we just gonna
So I just felt like that was a jab at Janelle in regards to her traveling to see her children over Thanksgiving, and also Christine wanting to go see her kids. You know, Robin's in a weird spot. All of her adult children still live at home and don't seem to be planning on moving out anytime soon, or at least they're not mentioning it during the show. So she's in the spot where her kids aren't going anywhere else. She doesn't even have to try to consider who she won't see or will see for the holidays yet. But she's kind of judging them for wanting to go see their adult children and their grandchildren. Yeah, I just felt like it was a jab. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So there is a scene where Meri really hypes up something she needs to say. She's like, she's doing a confessional. I should tell you that. If you haven't saw the show, Meri's doing a confessional and she's like, I have something to say, but I don't know if I should, but I want to. I need to think about it. Like, she really hypes it up. And then, you guys, it was like so ridiculous. It wasn't even a big deal at all.
Kind of disturbing because like some of the things that he's frustrated about with Christine, he did to me.
So that was the really big thing she wanted to tell us, is that there's similarities between what he's saying about Christine and her, but he doesn't want to work on the relationship with her, but he wanted to work on it with Christine. I'm like, come on, Meri. Come on, are you kidding me? There is so much more to your situation. And I'm not trying to make Christine's situation simple, but like, Meri's had this going on for so long, for so many years. Really, Meri is, to me, that relationship is over. I don't know what she's doing staying there. So just to hear her say, Kody's wanting to work on it with Christine, I'm like, he quit working on it with you so long ago. He's probably over it. I bet, again, Kody says it over and over. He's probably like, why is she still here? So Meri, I don't think Meri gets it. And I don't get it. I don't get Meri at all. So I just thought that was interesting. If you were watching it and expecting more, let me know, and let me know what you thought she was going to say. I was really wanting something big. I was like, oh man, we're not even thinking Meri's going to give us anything, and yet here it comes. And no, that was it. Her relationship isn't good, guys. Did you know that? So the communication sort of continues. They just sit there and keep talking about things like Janelle's children. Meri talks about, during her confessional, about her relationship. It seems like the communication is starting. Like, I don't feel like it went anywhere. I don't know if you guys felt like that. I felt like it was a conversation that was good for them to have, but it wasn't like there was an outcome. There was no solution to what was happening other than we need to just keep communicating. So I almost didn't put this in, but it is one of my favorite parts of this whole show. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this clip in here. Listen to what Kody says.
Plural marriage isn't all beer and Skittles.
I couldn't pass up sharing that with you guys. Those are true words of wisdom, okay? I'm not really sure if it's a quote that he is misquoting or if he made that up all on his own, but there was no way I was going to do this without putting that in there. You know, sometimes I think we underestimate him, and then he gives us a line like that. Ultimately, the conversation ends when Janelle says she needs to go to Savannah and to her daughter, Savannah, not the city, Savannah. She needs to go see Savannah. She needs to go home. And she hasn't even shown them the pictures of the home she wants to build. So she ends up showing them very quickly the drawings that she has had made. And they all look at it and it's all like, oh, you know, wonderful. And it's interesting because I disagree with Kody most of the time, but he says something here that I think is absolutely true. He's like, and you know, nothing came out of the conversation we had. There was no positive outcome. There was no solution. And here we are looking at the pictures of the property and pretending nothing happened. Yeah, I think that this family does that. Kody says a lot of goofy things. He says a lot of obnoxious and annoying and rude things, but he's right. Like, it feels like they never solve anything and then they throw down a picture of the property or talk about the property and they all like nod their heads and pretend everything is fine. I'm like, it's not fine. This family is not doing well. But that is where it ends, and Janelle heads on home. I definitely did not cover everything in the conversation. There was so much stuff in there. So again, if you want to leave a comment about something that really stood out for you, go ahead and do it. I know I did not cover it all. But from here, we move over to Janelle's new apartment. It is a small apartment. Janelle jokes around about how it's like they're starting over as newlyweds. Kody gets whiny because, it's Kody. What do you expect? Not really a lot to say there, though Savannah does point out that it doesn't feel like her dad really lives with them. But maybe that'll change now that they have an apartment. But based on Kody's whining, I still don't think it will change, unfortunately. So we move from Janelle's new apartment over to Christine, and she talks about living in Utah and how heavy it feels when she travels back to Flagstaff. Christine talks about how it feels like she's going back to the past. She mentions that she realizes now that her comments about not wanting to work on relationships with Robin, how that may have sounded like she didn't want to work on a relationship with Robin's children, which I disagree with. I don't think that is what I don't think it sounded like she was saying that, but Christine does acknowledge it. And she says that it makes her feel bad, but the only way to work on the relationship with Robin's children is to actually work on a relationship with Robin. And I'm like, pass on that. You know what? Sometimes you have to let things go. Robin's children, you know what? Several of them are adults. Pick up the phone, call them directly. You know what, Christine, you feel bad driving back to Flagstaff? Can you imagine trying to build a relationship with Robin? Who would want to do that anyway? Ew. Just let it go. Some things need to just be in the past. But Christine does say that if she wants to build a relationship with kids, she'll have to work on a relationship with Robin. Ew, I'm saying it again. I don't know why. It's just kind of like an icky feeling because you know what? Sometimes you have to let things go. You have to just move forward. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I feel like they're hinting. Do you guys feel like that? They're hinting of something to come and I just don't want it to happen. So we'll see, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and put in a clip of what she actually says that she needs to do in order to build a relationship with Robin's children. This is what she says.
In order to cross it, I have to build a bridge with Robin.
No, Christine, don't do it. Don't build a bridge. Don't build a bridge. Some bridges don't need to be built. Build a bridge with Robin's children directly. Just don't go building that bridge. Don't do it. So we sort of end the whole part of the show with Christine. She's not in this episode again. There's just a little bit of her in there. But we go back over to Robin's house, or we head over to Robin's house. Earlier, we were at Meri's house. But they're all getting together again. I'm like, look at this. They're actually all getting together and talking to each other. But this time they're getting together to talk about the holidays. And Janelle knows exactly what she's doing. She is heading to North Carolina to see Maddie and Caleb for Thanksgiving. And then she is going to stay home for Christmas. But it's not really that simple because even though she's staying in Flagstaff, you have to remember Kody's made it clear that those boys are not supposed to be over to his house or Robin's house unless they apologize. Literally, it was in the last episode. They sat at the restaurant and Kody was like, things have to be done before we can see each other. So, you know what? Janelle went and told her boys that, and they're like, okay, we'll rent an Airbnb. Because you have to remember, Janelle's in a really small apartment now. So the boys have a backup plan. Like, okay, so we can't go to Dad's. They're probably like, we don't even want to go. And so they come up with a place that they can go instead. So this, of course, gets Kody all sorts of worked up. Of course, when Kody is angry, he starts throwing around his favorite words: betrayal, loyalty, respect. He's throwing around all of his words and acting like he doesn't recall asking for an apology from his boys, which is hilarious because we all just watched it in the previous episode. He also starts looking to Meri and Robin for support, and really they don't say a whole lot. There is a part where Meri says during a confessional that she would choose to go see her kids. If she had to choose between her kids in town for the holidays and Kody, she would go spend the holidays with her kids. So really, Meri supports Janelle's decision here. So this ends up being a big issue that just goes on even further when Janelle lets Kody know that her boys have rented this Airbnb for the holidays, but after Christmas, Isabel and Truly are going to come stay as well. So Kody, of course, has a meltdown over this. I'm just going to play a little clip here so you can hear Janelle talking to him about it.
And then after Christmas, Christine said that Isabel and everybody are coming home and they want to come see the family here.
Oh man, this is exactly what I was afraid of with Christine leaving.
Kody,
So Kody sort of continues on with his normal stuff about betrayal and respect and loyalty and all of that. And he's sort of looking to Meri and Robin to get support. And they're not really saying a heck of a whole lot. And it really, again, just doesn't go anywhere because Kody can never really budge. I mean, when he does give a little bit, it's still not really giving in a little bit because what he does is blames it all on somebody else. Like, listen to him here in this episode. She is telling him, you said the boys had to apologize and they're not going to apologize. Instead of him saying, you know what, I'm going to call them instead. I want to work on it. I've changed my mind. I'm going to give them a call and let them know that I want to work this out. He doesn't do that. He actually creates a whole new fight, and he's pretty much saying it's all Janelle's fault because she is the one telling them that they need to apologize, and Kody changed his mind, and she should be communicating that to them or not communicating to them at all. I'm like, dude, hold yourself accountable. Pick up the phone. Call the kids yourself. You won't have anyone to blame for anything because you'll have said what you needed to say directly to your boys, and it's going to go a long way with them. We know the fact that he doesn't communicate with his children is a huge issue for them. Just pick up the phone and do it yourself. Quit blaming your wives. You have a cell phone, dude. Use it. So you just see that again and again. It's like he's blaming Janelle, and then he is saying they need to come to my house. Well, he has created such conflict between them, they don't want to. And then, let's get real, Truly and Isabel are going to go stay at the Airbnb after Christmas, and Kody's upset about that because he doesn't want them to be over at this neutral location. Those are his words. He wants them to come to his house. They're not comfortable coming to his house, and they want to go spend time with the siblings that they're close to. You know, is that a shame? Yeah, absolutely. But that is all Kody's doing, so whatever. It's just annoying. It never goes anywhere with him, and I don't really think it's going to. We're just going to watch him say the same things over and over. But I did want to throw in a clip of Janelle. You know, Janelle's good at being very decisive, and listen to what she says here.
Not going to leave my kids here in Flagstaff having a separate Christmas when I'm at Robin's with her and her kids and Kody and Meri. Sorry, not interested. I'd rather be with my boys.
Yes, Janelle, go be with your boys. I 100% think that is the right decision. Because here's my other issue. Let's just do a hypothetical, guys. Let's say that Janelle's sons were in the wrong. Let's say they did something and it really was really bad. I still feel like it's Kody's responsibility to reach out to them. It wouldn't matter if they're wrong or right. Sometimes when you're the older person or the parent, you sort of have to make the first move. You have to reach out because sometimes when a person's younger, they don't always see the big picture the way an older person might just because of life experience. Now, in this case, I think her sons are right. I'm on Team Janelle, Team Janelle's sons. I think Kody is in the wrong, but like, Kody wants to be the leader. Kody wants to be in charge of things. Why isn't Kody being the flippin' leader here? Like, what is wrong with him? Every time I think about this and him running his mouth and using the language, I think that adds so much more to it to me. I'm so over hearing about respect and betrayal and loyalty when it comes to like his wives and children. No one except Meri has cheated on him that I'm aware of. So like, they're all loyal. They're all there with him. Things kind of take a turn. Kody gets a lot more heated. Of course, he always does. Like anytime they're talking about COVID, I feel like he becomes more combative and more emotional. He is definitely very upset and he is raising his voice. Janelle says that she is leaving, and rightfully so. She doesn't need to sit there and take this. And this is where we have that scene where Kody sort of says something close to, Janelle, this isn't the time for you to walk away, and he's angry. I think we've seen that in several of the teasers and trailers for the show, and it's sort of like, almost it feels like a little bit of a threat. Like, if you walk away, it's over. I don't know that that matters to Janelle a whole lot, but he does agree to calm down, so she sits back down to talk with him more, and Robin is trying to get him to calm down, but she's also encouraging them to have this conversation. And I have said this a few times, like, I think they need to be more direct with each other, so I think it's good that they're talking, but again, I don't know that it's really going anywhere. So, but I mean, it's good, they're getting it out there. However, Kody has an analogy, guys. Kody has a way of explaining this. And one day I'm going to put together a video of all of my favorite Kody quotes and analogies. The beer and Skittles thing will be in there. There's a few things the wives have said that have cracked me up that are ridiculous, but this is an analogy that Kody has to explain the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and put the clip in here.
Okay, I don't know if all of you have played chess, but if the king is on a chessboard, he's nothing without a queen. But can you imagine if a guy has 3 queens? Now those 3 queens have got to work together.
So basically, Kody is not able to rule the world or a chessboard because his 3 queens keep attacking each other. That was super helpful in the moment, wasn't it? I'm sure they needed that analogy to figure out what was going on. But there are a few more things that I appreciate while they're out there talking and in the confessionals. There's a part where Janelle is talking about the holidays and the divorce and Christine, and she basically points out, because Kody is flipping out and he's like raising his voice and going on about the loyalty and betrayal, and he's been so hurt, he's been so rejected, and Robin is commenting on it as well, saying that he's been through a lot. And I appreciate it because during a confessional, Janelle pretty much says she has no idea why he is blindsided. Like, he had to know it was coming, and she's kind of tired of hearing it from him. So I appreciate that. That is definitely how I feel. How could he think that things weren't going downhill with Christine? It's ridiculous. So he just sort of continues to go on spewing the Kody spew. But there is a part, ooh, that sounded gross. Sorry, guys. But there is a part where Kody talks about his relationship with his parents. And I have to tell you guys something. All the times I've watched Kody talk, a lot of times I'm like, this guy just cannot get a lot of depth in conversation. Like, he doesn't hold himself accountable. He doesn't see the big picture or understand other emotion. But you know what? He talks about his relationship with his own parents. And then he talks about how it's impacting his relationship with Gabe and Garrison. And it's probably the most insightful that I've ever seen Kody. And he acknowledges that the boys probably want the same loyalty that he wants. I'm going to go ahead and put a clip in here because I did think that was kind of a nice moment for Kody. You know, so often it's hard to like him or to feel like he doesn't relate to people very well, but I felt like Kody had a moment of like clarity and insight here. It was short, guys, but it was sort of hidden in this episode.
I'm sure Garrison and Gabriel are having heartbreak. They probably wish I was as loyal to them as I wish that they were to me.
So I didn't want to leave that out, so I wanted to make sure I got that in before I ended the video because we don't always get that sort of insightfulness from Kody, and I felt like there was a little bit of it there, and I don't want to take it for granted, guys. Like, he's giving us something that's not obnoxious or rude or annoying. Let's roll with it for a second. Kody is able to see how his own relationships are now influencing his relationships with his children. So I think that's sort of like he's having a moment. I know I presented a few things that were said out of order because I was trying to decide what to put in and what not to put in, but I tried to put them still in the same scenes that they happened in. So I hope I did that right. This episode was just really complex and there was a lot there, so making this video was a bit more difficult. I had wrote down notes and I was trying to remember what I thought was important. So let me know. I know I didn't get it all in here. Let me know what was important to you guys or what I missed out on that you're like, oh, that was huge. You should have put that in there. I definitely know I missed stuff. So I'm going to make a few smaller episodes this week, so if you want to focus in more in depth on certain scenes and certain parts, come back for that. And I also have a fun episode. I have it scheduled for Wednesday. I really enjoyed making it. It is about the Browns, so come back for that. Yeah, I look forward to reading all of your comments. And ooh, one more thing. Did you guys see the preview for the one-on-ones? Yeah, like we know what the future holds. They tell us that Kody is divorced from Christine and separated from Janelle. So they kind of like fill us in on what's to come right there in the preview for the next episode. So I am really looking forward to the tell-alls. And yeah, I look forward to reading your guys' comments too. Leave them and click like and subscribe if you haven't already. And come back to hear more about the Browns and other reality TV shows here at Happily Ever Reality.